It's super fast. You know, I love it. I can do everything I want with it. The only thing I can't do with it is use the biometric fingerprint sensor on here. It, for whatever reason, it doesn't work. And so what we're going to do today is going to replace the keyboard. Firstly, I'm going to turn the lights up a bit so it's a bit brighter in here. Maybe change it to bright light. Is that too bright? Am I too bright on there? I need people to see, but I also don't want you to be completely blinded by light. So what we're going to do, we're going to tear this laptop down, right down to its component parts. Dell sent me some screws. Where are the screws that Dell sent me? Dell sent me a whole bunch of replacement screws, which are here. Because I spoke to Dell about my laptop, and we had like a large discussion about it. And so Dell sent me a whole load of screws. These are all replacement Dell screws. And what Dell did is put one screw per bag, which is kind of ridiculous, I think. You know, one screw per bag, right? So basically, I got more screws than I need to do the job of this laptop. This is a Dell XPS 17. If you haven't seen one of these, there's loads of reviews on one of these laptops at the moment. And this is easily the most compact. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's the most compact 17-inch laptop. I love this laptop. There's nothing on this laptop I don't like, apart from the fact that my keyboard doesn't work. So what we're going to do today is going to open it apart, and we're going to change the thermal paste in it in the process, and we're going to replace the keyboard with a brand new one. So Dell sent me this keyboard. I had to take the stickers off it because it had my address on it. So this is a brand new Dell keyboard. Yeah, it came from the factory. It's got a sticker on it. The only thing I've changed on it is stick the Intel sticker on there because I wanted to keep the Intel sticker, man. So firstly, we're going to do is take the laptop apart first. Otherwise, how the fuck are we going to change it then? Okay, so I will use my ROG screwdriver. Oops. This is a ROG screwdriver bit that Asus gave me, which is really nice. So I'm going to take all the screws out first. I'm using a T5 screw bit. You see that? It's a T5 screw bit. Look, you see that chat? T5 screw bit. Yeah, that's what I'm using. So I'm going to take out all the screws first. And the reason why Dell sent me a whole load of new screws is because these screws on the back of the case, they are a little bit soft. It's not that bad, but they are softer. When I say softer, they ding very easily and they break very easily. And we had a discussion on this with a couple of guys from a tech department. Why not have the chat thing installed on here? I don't have the chat thing installed. So yeah, so just going to take out all the factory screws. I've been in this laptop a couple of times, but I haven't stripped it down to the point where I'm stripping it down right now. So if you want to know, this is a $3,000 laptop basically. It's got a RTX 3060 on board. I think it's a 6GB RTX 3060. I've upgraded the RAM in this machine to 64 gigs of RAM. I upgraded the SSD in this machine from 512 gigabytes to 4 point, I think I've upgraded it. Is it 4 terabytes of storage it's got on board now? So, oh, I missed one. So, okay, to get into the laptop, you have to use a bit of initiative because the bottom case is clipped onto the top case, and I've been in this laptop a few times, and what happens is that the carbon fiber top, the more time you go into one of these laptops, yeah, the easier it is to open. It's really strange. I need a ruler because I can't get into it otherwise. Where is my metal ruler gone? Did I get into it with one of these? Breaking into this thing is actually quite hard, and the laptop's come back on. This laptop comes on every time you open it. Um, I don't know, is there a setting in the computer or anything to do that? But the laptop comes on every time. Every time you open the lid, it comes on. I don't know, is that a good thing or is that a negative thing? It's just a pain in the ass. I think there's a setting in the BIOS to allow you to disable that, but I haven't found it yet. Hey, turn off. Shut down. So we don't want to destroy the screen. We just want to open the base. What, a ruler? I have a metal ruler somewhere. I just don't know where it is. How can I move? How can I lose a metal ruler, God? What's there? Okay. So we're going to open this. I'm using a metal ruler. This is like, it's a fiber cast. It's really flexible metal ruler. It's not designed for opening electronics and stuff like that, but you know I use it for that purpose. Uh, because it's just thin enough, you know. So I'm just going in there and just leaving it open from the underside. I I'm happy to damage the carbon fiber, but I'm not happy to damage the um aluminium casing, because damaging the aluminium casing means that I get a permanent ding on the case. So this is the beautiful. This is a absolutely work of art. I mean, look at it. It's all machined out of a solid piece of aluminium, and this is like it is just like a iPad, right, or an iPhone. The and if you ding this, there's no getting a replacement because your serial number and everything is actually stamped on the back of it. You know, your surface code and your serial number and everything is all stamped on the back of this. So if you dent this, you're gonna be living in that dent for the rest of your life, for the rest of the surface life of the laptop, because there is not a replacement one of these. Because like I asked Dell about it. I says, can the back case be replaced? And they said that every back case they make is a one-off. So it's unique to your machine. There is not another one on the market that will match your machine. I mean, it won't match the surface code in your laptop, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is take off the battery. See this little, like a little rubbery thing, little string thing here. Just going to pull this off. Like this. This cuts off the power from the entire laptop. Um, I tell you why I do it, because I've seen so many YouTube videos where people just open the laptop and take off the SSD drives and everything with power running through it, and I can't I can't watch those videos. They 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 make me very anxious because the power is still running through the circuit board, you know, and you're going to unplug it, you know. You're not going to unplug it. You're going to leave it. Basically, it's like changing the SSD on your PC with the computer still on, because on a laptop the circuit board in there is never really off because the 5 volts still run through it. So at the moment, I'm taking all the screws off from the battery. I'm just going to remove the battery completely. Another screw here somewhere. So basically, everything in this laptop screws into your keyboard, essentially. Um, so we're going to take everything out. We're going to take the battery out. We're going to take the keyboard out. We're going to take all the electronics out of the laptop. So that's your. This is 100. It's a 97 watt hour battery. You see it, chat? 97 watt hour battery. This is like. This is. It's a 6 cells battery. It's got 6 little cells in it, and it is kind of flexible in a way. Dell tells me that this is a user serviceable part, so if the battery dies, you can go to Dell's website and buy a replacement unit and drop it in yourself, you know. So that's a good thing. Apple does not even Apple does that. Yeah, that's a little battery connector, and this is the battery. Yeah. So this on this laptop, I get about 5 hour power out of it. You know, it depends on your workload, right? On if you're just using the onboard the iGPU, I can get about 8 hours out of this laptop. But if I'm using the RTX processor on here, forget it. It's gonna run out of power before you know what to do with it. So I need to take off. What do I need to take off first? I need to take off the display because that's attached to the thing. So what I'm going to do with these screws is just lay them out in front of me, where next to where I took them out from. I'm just going to unscrew the displays for now. I'm not going to. I can't pull the display away because ribbon cables are still attached. I'm just going to take out 2 of the 3 screws on each side. I'm just going to leave 1 screw in there because I don't want the display flapping around because the ribbon cable is still here. So I'm going to take off the. I think I'm going to take this off first. This is the heat exchanger. It's got numbers on here, and Dell told me I should take it off in reverse order. So that's what I'm going to do. So number 6, number 5, number 4. Ah, that one's not tight. Number 3. Number 2. And this is number 1. So I think, as far as I know, on this model, it isn't attached with anything. It's just literally sitting on the GPU and all the chips and everything. So it should just lift off, right? Yep, it does. There you go. This is that's the 36. That's the RTX 3060, and that's the Tiger Lake processor. So I'm just going to leave this on the side here. I'm going to clean this off later, but the first thing I want to do is extract the logic board from the case. I think I'll take these screws out. Put these screws there. Take this little metal thing off first, because the metal thing holds down the Thunderbolt ports, so they don't wiggle. It gives the Thunderbolt ports a bit more strength. They have this. Dell has this nice bracket on top of the USB-C ports. I haven't seen it on the other laptops. I only see it on XPS laptops that they have this little metal bracket for the Thunderbolt, and there's 4 Thunderbolts put. This laptop has 4 Thunderbolt 4, okay, and it has a controller. It has a controller for each side. It's got one controller underneath this can and one controller under this can. So you actually get 40. It's 40 gigabyte per controller, which is really good. I like it. It's like I've been looking at these things in the past, and I was curious to myself. It's like, is Dell building this laptop cheaply, or are they building it properly and having because like laptop manufacturers can and often will cheap out on making things. So they can give you Thunderbolt 4, right? But they don't have to give you they can put all the ports on one channel, and the maximum speed you'll get is 40 gigahertz. Whereas on this, it's not 40 gigahertz, 40 gigabit. So on this, it's got 40 gigabits on this side and 40 gigabits on that side. So you can plug your 4K displays into one of these ports, and the other side you can use for your storage data, and it shouldn't slow down, you know. I think how many need to take this off. Take the bracket off the ribbon cable. This is where it gets fragile. I'm just going to lift some plugs off here. These are like little Legos, as they're just little Legos with a little clip on it. So there's a little protector thing for it, and the little Legos underneath it. So we just unplug them for now. We don't have to do anything with it. Take the motherboard off the casing here. Those screws over there. At the moment, I'm just taking screws out, literally. Any screws I can find. I don't know. Do I need to take screws off this? It looks like a daughter board, but I'm not sure it's screwed together. I'm just going to get screws out of it anyway. Why is there a foam thing on my computer? Tweezers! I need tweezers. Where are my tweezers? Tweezers. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So, it looks like this is a daughter board. That is attached to the main board. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, look at that! They put the daughter board of the This is a SDX, and the headphone socket is on the daughter board. That's nice. It means that if you break the headphone socket, you can get a replacement board for it. I can't imagine people still use headphones that often. Okay, I need to unplug the speakers. So what I did, I used the tip of my tweezers into the little slots on the top there and slide it out sideways. Does this screw down? I can't tell. I need to find a screwdriver. See, I got an iFixit toolkit here, but some of the parts are worn out. Some of the little screws that are the little screw bits that for my iFixit kit, they're worn out. So I have to be careful which screw bits to use. So those little tiny screws. Okay. Fan out. That is a big fan. How is it so dusty all of a sudden? That's a nice little fan. Where's it? Who's made by? Sunman. They're a big fan manufacturers. They're quite you know, they're the Chinese brand of fan manufacturers, but they make loads of laptops. Okay, that's the right one. Put that there. So left and right. Need to take this off, I think. So this is the network card. Unfortunately, on this machine, the network card doesn't come off. It's part of the logic board. So what I do is stick my fingernail underneath the little tab to unplug it, because if I use anything more, I'm going to break it. I just need to just unplug it a little bit, and also I need to pull out the speaker. Oh, you use so much tape on this machine. Okay, pull out the speaker. Does this motherboard lift off now, or is it still screwed in? Oh, still screwed in. So how many other screws is there? Oh, I don't know. Take that off. That is. Oh, okay. So I think is that the whole thing? Is it still holding by something? Holding by. Oh, keyboard. So on the keyboard latch, there's like a little thing that flicks up. So just if you flick it up a little bit, it will open and unlock everything. So is that motherboard free? Wow, the motherboard's free. So this is the entire motherboard on the computer, and it's quite. I like it. I find it fascinating. This, um, you know, it's. I'm really surprised by how much technology they crammed into this board. This is like a 16 thread processor with an RTX 3060 on it, and look at that. It's like It's beautiful, isn't it? I don't want to drop this or break it. I have to put this somewhere safe. I think I'll just put it back on here for a moment because I need to remove the display part of it out. I'm basically um, taking this to bits. On this laptop, there isn't anything that you can kind of break away and sell, you know, because there isn't that many parts in it. So take this motherboard and stick that on the back. Okay, so does this pull away? There you go. So this is the keyboard part we are replacing. Yeah, the whole of it. This is the whole keyboard front. Basically Dell says that this keyboard is all. This is like the keyboard assembly. This is the bit. If you go on the internet and you can find this for about I think it's about £100 or about $70, something like that. And but Dell sent me a replacement for free. Nice guys. Nice guys. So this is mine from this one is what Dell sent me. It's brand new. It's a direct drop-in replacement of the one I've got there. So I don't know why it's so dusty, chat. So this one goes directly in place of the other one, like that. And then everything goes back on top of it. I think I have to take the antennas off here. I think I left something on here because this has gold things on it and this one doesn't. So maybe I have to transfer those over. Can I pull this back off? Is it magnetic? God damn, those magnets are really strong. Okay. So go in here and take these little screws off. There's 4 on each side by the looks of things. I think these are the Wi-Fi antennas, chat. These are the AX 811 point. I can't remember what the number is, but it's the AX6 antennas. It's meant to be super fast. I don't have Wi-Fi in my home, so I can't test it, unfortunately. These 8 screws look identical. They all look really short, like they're like 3 millimeters long. They're just really short. So, how does that come out? Oh wow! Stuck the speaker underneath it. Okay, okay, okay. Oh wow! I didn't expect that. They stuck all the cables to the. I thought this was like just. Ah, why did they do that? Why is the Captain tape on here? Can't get the bloody thing off now. Oh, there you go. Okay, lift this one up. Lift that one up. Okay, that's a black one. I think that's the the right one, isn't it? So this is the other one. Ooh, okay, okay. I'm going to put this to one side because I don't know what else I have to lift from it. I might keep the original speakers because I know they work. Okay, the new one might have workable speakers too, but I don't know how well they sound. I know that on the ones I took off, they sound really good. So what I'm gonna do first is put some screws in the back here. So because this is a Dell part, everything that on here is a Dell part, and according to Dell, they will send you out a replacement part, and if you don't break the computer when you replace it, you don't lose the warranty. So that's reassuring, because like I don't really break things. I mean, I drop things on the floor every once in a while and they shatter and they break there, but I don't deliberately break things. You know, I don't break things by fixing things or working on it. Well, I haven't done it yet anyway. So these are the long screws that go on the back of here, and there's 3 on each side. These screws is what attaches the display to the top case. I'm just like, I'm just grabbing the screwdriver and just tightening them hand tight because I don't want the screws to come off, you know. And I can feel it when I tighten it. I can feel it just tighten a little bit and then it locks. Okay, I'll put the left antenna back on here. Well, the other one had the speaker go underneath it, so maybe I'll put the speaker on the top of it, eh? Masking tape everywhere, man. The masking tape the speaker on there. Oh, maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I can just lift off the base speaker and stick it on. Save the masking tape because the part I'm replacing, I could sell it as a spare because the keyboard works. It's just that the fingerprint sensor doesn't work. And Dell says to me, they don't sell you the fingerprint, they won't supply you the fingerprint sensor by itself, I said. So they sent me the whole keyboard top instead. So just screwing in the Wi-Fi component here. I didn't really have to stream this. I just felt, why not? You know, maybe somebody'd be interested in it. So I'm going to put the wires back into its little channel. There's little channel here for the cables to go into. And they've even drawn a line on the back of the keyboard to tell you where the cable goes. Kind of nice. Does the other one doesn't have this line? Oh, what the heck? So it's a different model. Like, you see the little white line on here? This one doesn't have it. It's blank. So is it a different revision? They redesigned it since I bought the laptop. So this one goes on top, and the last one goes underneath the ribbon cable. I don't know why. It goes underneath the ribbon cable. Um, okay, and then this is the light cable, so it goes under there. And then what does it go into this channel? I don't know. I'm guessing at this point because I've forgotten. I think it. Okay, it must go with that channel then. So that must go into there, right? Maybe because it's got little hooks on it. So I'm guessing that's where it goes. This cable feels really long. Is it meant to be this long? And then this one goes on this side. Does this go underneath the cable as well? Is that why this is tacked down? I don't know, can you see anywhere up there, chat? I'm thinking it goes. I am thinking Ethernet cable, Ethernet antenna goes underneath the speaker because that's what it does on the other side when I took it off. It's like what I do with the screws is I bundle them up together so I know where they came from. I don't want to over tighten the screws. I'm just tightening them in so they feel tight. And then I'll just leave it at that, you know. Because like there's nothing, you don't want screws rattling around in your computer when you're moving it around. Because if you don't tighten them, that's going to happen, isn't it? And then it's going to short something out. So this cable goes underneath the speaker maybe, and then the speaker goes on top. Is that how I did it before? Seems like probably sure. Tight fit though. I don't know. These are new speakers. Well, I suppose at the end of the day, I've got some spare speakers in case they don't work. Um, Take the masking tape off. I don't need the masking tape, do I? Okay. What needs to be done? Set the speaker back on. Oh damn, this speaker's really thin. I'm just sticking some cables down because like they came off. Okay. I think I should put the. I think this would be a good time to put the keyboard light and stuff like that back on. Because if I forget it after I put the keyboard in, I can't see it anymore. Oh man, I can't get it back in. Okay, on the lighting one, the socket has two little metal things on it, and the ribbon has to go underneath the metal clips, otherwise they don't slide in. And this one is the keyboard, I imagine. The keyboard one goes in really easily, a little bit too easy. So that's it. That's the keyboard and everything mounted there. So up the motherboard again. These cables, man. Oh, that's the fingerprint cable. Actually, fitting that in is quite easy. I didn't think. I thought it'd be more bothersome. So, here. Hi, OPS. How you doing? I'm changing the keyboard over on my $3,000 laptop. This is a Dell XPS 17. This is the most expensive laptop Dell does in the XPS range. And I'm taking it apart, and I can't tell you how sweaty I feel right now. Oh man. I was like, Dell says to me, I says to Dell, says, hey, my keyboard works, but the fingerprint sensor won't record anything, and it won't record anything. It doesn't do anything. And that's a bit odd, they said. Are the drivers in? I says, the drives are stock. I haven't touched anything on it. And they said to me, yeah, we did lots of diagnosis things, and we came to the conclusion maybe the fingerprint hardware in the keyboard is faulty because the Windows didn't detect it. Windows is supposed to come up as a biometric device, but Windows didn't detect it. So Dell came to the conclusion that maybe the device is faulty, and they were sending me a new keyboard out to replace it. So I think this ribbon cable here is where that's where the keyboard sensor is on the keyboard. That thing there. But apparently, Dell doesn't ship this part out by itself. They ship the entire keyboard unit out instead. Which I don't have a problem with that. You know, I didn't have to pay for it. It was free. And then this goes into the keyboard ribbon. Which has to go all the way in, and the two little plastic things on the edge of the cable slots into a groove, and then that's it, you know. So now it's a matter of putting all the screws back in, hopefully, and finding out, do I have any spare parts? Because if I got spare parts, then I've missed something. Which way does this go? Does this go up or down? Does it go that way? It goes that way. Are these screws the same? So just putting in the retaining screws for the Thunderbolt connectors, because that was really good about that. They made the I don't say close it. I say don't close it. Don't close what? What do you say? Don't close what? I'm sorry. I'm miles away. So I'll do the other side now. That way I can do it in symmetrical. I can't tell you how hot I feel doing this. I am sweating, chap. I'm not. I just feel really hot. I think I'm just worried about breaking the laptop, man, because it's a very expensive. It's a very expensive bit of gear. This, you know. Um, and Dell's given me sent me the parts to replace it with, you know. So they must have some faith in me, man. They must have faith in me. What's this? Go? Just get plugged into a little Lego thing. Oh, is that it? Okay. It's like I've bought Dell computers in the past, right? And a lot of people diss Dell. They say Dell's this, Dell's that. But you know what? I've had a couple of Dell laptops in my past, and I've never really had any problems with it. And whenever there were problems, I told Dell about it. They've been quite good about sending me replacement bits, you know. And I have to admit, this is probably the biggest part Dell's ever sent me is the keyboard assembly, because the entire computer seems to live on the back of it. So I know what's going to happen is that when I put this thing together, yeah, when I close it, next time I open the machine, it's going to be super tight because all these clips on the side of here is brand new, and yeah, I just think it's going to be super tight when I come to open it again. I'm going to put these little Lego things on here. Little like a retainer thing on here. Or no, cable slip behind. Lego in Lego. Slip the cable underneath the motherboard. Is that it? Did I screw it? Is that go in right? And then there's a little like retainer clip that sits on top of it. See that? This little retainer clip. This is what holds the display connectors on. It's like a little metal guard thing that holds the cables in, so they don't pop off. Yeah. The keyboard, the screws back into the computer. Dell actually tells you what screws go in what holes. It's printed on the silk screen there. That's really interesting because like it means that you don't have to worry about getting the screws in the wrong places and stuff. So put the fan back in here. I think the fan just sits on top of here. Oh, put the cable in first. So I think it's two black screws on the outside and a silver screw in the middle. Changed a bit because the silver screw has a way smaller hole. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why they've got different screws there and different screws there. It's weird. My back's itchy. It's weird. When I restart my stream, everybody goes away, and then when I restart the stream again, half the people that were there before, they've gone. It's weird. So the outer screws were black. And the inner screw was silver. It's really weird though. Why have they done that though? Why have you put? Because it says M1.64L there, and it tells you on the fan what screw goes where, and it just feels really weird that that screw's really small. So put the speakers in on the other side. And put the Ethernet cables in. These are tiny. These are bloody tiny, man. Barely. Damn. Those are tiny. Really tiny. Okay, I better stick the retainer on before I break it again. I, I, I totally understand why they put this metal bracket on top of it, because those little things are bloody tiny. I mean, they're even tiny in my eyes. I'm not even sure why there's tape on here. It doesn't stick to anything. If it did, I don't know, I just stick it on top of there. That looks like it's the place it's gonna go. Okay, we're going to turn the laptop around 180 degrees. I need to find some. I need to find some tissue or something, or cloth, because I need to clean the thermal pad. Um, there you go. This is the rag I use for cleaning out the thermal paste. Oh, why is half the pads on here? This looks weird. Why have you done this now? Why is this pad? Why is half this pad black and the other half isn't black? Why have you done that though? Oh, this black pad is really soft compared to the other pads. I don't know why they've done that. It's just weird. It's like the thermal. It's like this thing doesn't quite reach or something. So basically, what I'm doing is moving the thermal pad closer to the edge, because it doesn't look like it's covering it off the chips. Can't see with glasses on. Got to take them off. It's like I'm looking at the imprint on the thermal pad, and it looks like the thermal pad could be a slightly further up. You know, that's why I'm repositioning it. It could look better basically. So need to clean this stuff off here. Ew, it's quite thick. Oh, it's quite thick. It's sticking to my fingers. Just giving the polish surface a good polish. I don't know why Dell's done this two different types of thermal pad thing here. I mean, why couldn't they just cut another piece of that and stuck that there? You know, it's wide enough, isn't it? I don't know why they've done that. It's just weird. So I'm just picking up all the dust stuff here because it's been sitting in my room and it's picked up a whole load of dust, and I don't need it to be dusty. I like it to conduct heat rather than be an insulator. Just making sure all the pads are in the right places, you know, because without them, they're not going to keep anything cool, you know. Um, they look all right now. Okay, so I'm going to put this here for now. I'm going to get the thermal paste material, wherever that might be. There should be a syringe of it somewhere. So we're going to use MX5 because this stuff has a really long shelf life. Got a really long function life. Just making sure the dies are absolutely clean before I put it on there. I want it to have the best heat conductivity possible. I don't know why, but this CPU die on there has a few marks on it. Don't know why that is. What I'm going to do is spread it around with a knife, with just a scalpel. Very gently, just spread it around so it's nice and flat. It's like I want the contact to be absolutely perfect. I've seen other people do this, and they use a credit card for it. And I don't have a credit card at hand, but I do have lots of scalpel blades flying around. I use a scalpel blade. I'm not really cutting the chip as I'm just using the scalpel blade as a butter knife, as it were, just spreading the goo around. Might need a bit more on that one. It's a bit lacking. I know that when you put the heatsink on top, it's going to push it around, but I just want to make it sure every corner of the die is covered. Um, that way it's got some opportunity of cooling down. This is just the way I do it, you know. You don't have to do this. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think every part of the die is covered there. There's another knife somewhere. Where is it? Do I not have the other scalpel? Oh. Okay. I think I can drop this on top of it now. Literally drop it on top. Okay, I'll put the screws back in now. So I'm not going to tighten them all in. I'm just going to loosely put them in place. Only a little bit tighter than that. Because I want the pressure to be even across both silicons. These little screws have little spring mechanisms on it. So I'm just kind of push it into the thread, and I'll go around, tighten them up again. Really interesting job, this, chat. Honestly. Okay, all the screws are in. I see we still have the same 5 people watching. You guys must be all dead in chat, man. Because like this stream is like it's so lit right now. I've got fucking stuff all over me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put the battery back in. Put the battery back in. Oh, that one's got a funny screw on it. Where's the funny screw? Do I not have a funny screw? Or is it in the bag? Maybe it's in the bag. I don't know why they done this. It just seems really odd. And the rest of them are black screws. I don't know, is it me being hot or um or I'm just really sweating right now because I'm operating on a laptop I can barely afford, you know. It's like this laptop is like, I'm not kidding. This laptop costs $3,000 or £3,000, and I just took it to bits. I just took it right down to its core bits, you know. And it's not very often I take such an expensive thing apart, man. I've got I got thermal paste all over me. It's not very often I take a $3,000 item apart. I took my live view apart because I wanted to look inside of it. Um, but Dell sent me the part on here because they trust me, you know, and they even told me you don't need to send the old one back. Just keep it as a spare. Do what you want with it. So yeah, thank you, Dell. I really appreciate it. So before I put the power back in, I just want to double check that all my screws are tight because I don't want any screws rattling in my machine. I don't want to walk around, go traveling and find out, hey, there's something rattling my laptop. What the heck? You know? Because chances are I won't have the tools to open this machine up once I close it. I don't know when I'm traveling yet, but you know, the point is that I just want to make sure that all the screws are tight. I don't know people. I don't think many people. Seems like half the screws were not needed. Um, these are spare screws, right? Because these screws on here, because we had Dal and I we had a discussion that because I've been in this laptop about 5 6 times. We had the hard drive changed, we had the memory upgraded. Because like I put in a different set of memory before and they didn't work, so I had to replace. I placed the memory in this laptop about 5 times to because like they knew what. See, Dell knew what memory would go in this, but they wouldn't tell me what memory wanted that this uses, and I didn't want to pay the Dell premium to get the laptop running, you know. So I decided that I'm going to buy some laptop memory, and I bought lots of different brands of laptop memory. Um, I bought some Crucial memory. I bought some uh, like I bought loads and loads of different types of memory on this. So eventually, I upgraded this with Samsung memory, um, Samsung memory, and I put 64 gigabytes in it, which is the maximum amount that this laptop can handle. And then I went in afterwards. I went originally this laptop shipped with 512 gigabyte SSD, and I'm going to use this laptop for editing videos and stuff. And 512 gigabyte of SSD wasn't enough, so I took out the 512, put 2 terabytes in that one, and put 4 terabytes in that one. So in all, this laptop has 64 gigs of RAM and shitloads of storage. More storage than I probably ever need. Yeah, but you know, when you're going to be out on traveling and you're going to be editing, like what my plan is that at the moment I'm doing Twitch, but later I want to migrate and to start doing YouTube videos and stuff. But I want to do my YouTube videos to be more about my travel experiences and stuff like that, or how I feel when I'm abroad, or you know, things like that. And this is the laptop I'm going to be traveling with. So I want this laptop to have as much oomph as possible. There's much processing power, as much everything. This has got a Tiger Lake, it's a 10900K. It's a Tiger Lake, not 10900K. It's a 10900H. There's two versions. There's a HK and a H. the HK is unlocked, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know many people would and will the same when I need a laptop. I don't know, man. It depends what you want to do with it. You know, if you want to, I wanted this laptop to be my workstation on the go. I looked at the Apple stuff, right? And then when I looked at all the stuff that Lewis Rossman was posting about laptops and stuff like that, I found out that I don't want a laptop. I don't want an Apple laptop. I want a Windows laptop because Windows laptops I can upgrade stuff in it. Yeah. So if later they produce bigger SSDs, um, this is a Gen 4. There's two Gen 4 SSDs in here. So there's a 2 TB there, and I think that's a 4 TB, or it could be 2 plus 2. I can't remember. I did it a while ago. But the point is that I can upgrade this on the go. As more money comes into my pocket, more, I can just go, okay, oh, they got 8 TB ones in here now. I can put 8 TB in there and leave my boot drive alone and stuff like that, So that's the point of it. So I'm gonna put the power back in because I'm quite happy. One minute, just one more check. Make sure these screws are tight. These side screws have to be tight because they are the support brackets for the Thunderbolt ports, and Thunderbolt ports takes lots of wear and tear. They're only USB-C type sockets, and they're really small. So the support bracket is really important. It just needs to be tight. Okay, I'm gonna put the power back in there. If no smoke comes out, I'll be really happy. Right? Where's this cable go? I can't get it in, chat. Wow, there's no fizzle. I'm expecting it to fizzle and die and all sorts of things. Anyway, I'm just going to leave the back off for now because when I open the top, it should power up. Right? Okay, and as you can see, it seems to have powered up. Just wait for to Windows. What I'm gonna do is load Windows up first. The fans are not spinning, but the Dell logo's on and the light's gone off. So, what are you doing, Dell? It's always nerve-wracking when this happens because there's no beeps. It's really silent. A day of the time not set. Continue. Okay. So this laptop has the 4K display, the touch screen. It has everything. Okay, it seems to be working, and I can open stuff, right? Yep. So what has it got? It's got a 2 plus 2 TB. So, and now it wants to connect to Steam. How are you going to connect to Steam? Because there's no Wi-Fi. Yeah, there's no Wi-Fi. But as you can tell, it's all working. So I'm going to shut it down. Yay, shut it down. And close it again. And where's the... Oh, so the fans are spinning. Nice and quiet there. So go and put the top back on, or the base back on. Yeah. Okay. Put the screws back in. Now I'm not going to use the screws that shipped with the machine because they're a bit soft in my opinion. So I'm going to replace it with like new ones. So these are the other spare ones. So what Dell gave me is 2 extra SSD screws. Because I had a previous machine that when I took the SSD screws out, they screw broke. And because I'm under warranty right now, I thought I'll just get the screws now and I'll put them in the case, you know. So I'm going to take these screws out. These are identical screws to the original ones. But Dell tells me they're a bit harder than the original screws. I don't know, is that true? But that's what they told me. They're a bit harder than the original screws. And they should match this laptop perfectly. So basically what I've done is upgraded the machine, replaced all the back screws with brand new screws that Dell sent me. And they are exactly the same as the one I took off. But apparently the alloy is stronger. I don't know if that's true. I just know that some of the old screws are a bit soft. And because because like when I opened the machine previously, I made one of the screws look a bit weird. The head was a bit weird, and that kind of bugged me. So I bugged Dell about it. I says, "Hey, your screws are a bit soft, man." And because I upgraded this laptop to near enough top specs as what I need it to be, I don't think I need to open this laptop again for a long time. You know, I figured that put new screws in it. Yeah, there's at least like I mean, I'll keep the old screws. I will keep them in the Dell box in case I need to refer to them later. Yeah, I know loads of people like use electronic screwdrivers to put in little screws on their system. Um, I don't like them to be honest with you. I mean, they're great. The I mean, they're great for putting screws in, but I don't like them because you can't feel how tight you're torquing it, and if you're over torquing screws, You know, you don't want to be over talking these little screws. I just want to put them in and want the screw lock thing to activate, and then I want the screw to stay in. And I want to be able to remove it again afterwards without trying to break the screw. Because I've seen people break these screws. There's a guy on YouTube called Everyday Dad, and he takes his brand new XPS 17 apart on the first on his Tigerlate. It's the Tigerlate video, the second one that he made for 2020 or this year. The first time he opens his laptop, he breaks a screw, and then he gets a power drill out to drill the damn thing open, you know, and that's bloody scary, man. I don't want that to happen. Is there a screw missing, or is there a bag missing? Because I don't have. I've got one. There's supposed to be enough screws for the back of it. Did I have one bag missing over here somewhere? I do. It's there. So Dell sent me I just messaged Dell on their email system and says, hey, look, I think your screws are a bit soft because I pulled the screws out of the system to upgrade the drives, and one of the screws a bit dinged. So these are all the empty screw packets. That's an empty one as well. Yeah, that's an empty one as well. I'll keep them. Little zip bags are useful. Yeah. You don't know when you want a little baggie, yeah? A little baggie. You know. Put all sorts of things in here, guys. You know what I mean? Like, if you walk, I don't know, in Manchester, where I'm in, if you walk around the streets with a bag of screws, with a little bag of baggies like this in your pocket, and you get stopped by the police, the first thing the police do over here is they will question you what was in the bag. I've seen people being stopped by the police. Yo, man, what's in the baggie? Air. Are you being funny with me? No, officer. There's just plastic bags. What are you going to use them for? They give you so many stupid daft questions because it's a plastic bag, and I don't know. It's like if I got stopped in the street and they said, "Well, what are you going to do with your bags?" I got screws in them, man. It's like if they don't believe me, they can check my Twitch video, innit? Well, it's videoed. So yeah, the police in my country are a bit weird. So I got some spare screws. The ones on the individual ones are the brand new replacement SSD screws, and this one and those ones in together are the old screws. What I'm going to do with these screws is that I'm going to put them in the box where the laptop goes. You know, where the laptop shipped to me was. That way, I always know where the screws are. So I'm going to power this machine back on, and hopefully the thermal paste I put on there is good enough for it. This machine looks brand new now. I mean, it's got a bit of dust on it, but it's brand new. Look at that. The keyboard still has the thing on it. I will stick that on here. I hope the speakers work. The reason why I'm doing this, guys, because I will sell the original one. and explain that the keyboard works fine, but the biometric pad doesn't work. And you know, if somebody wants to buy a US style keyboard, they got one, wouldn't they? And all they have to do is supply the biometric from their old laptop. I know that the biometric thing comes off, but Dell doesn't supply it that way. They supply it as a keyboard assembly, because maybe that's easier for them. When they come to do repairs for warranty repairs and stuff like that, maybe replacing the whole thing is easier than barely replacing a little thing on the corner. I don't know. I just put this on there because I could sell it as new. It's like, this is new. This is barely used, man. It's just the keyboard thing doesn't work. So I need to go into here. Go to here, click this, and go to manage systems. Why is the speaker not working? Speakers are working, chat. Bloody hell. The bass are working. I can feel it. Need to clean this display. Display's a bit grubby, man. I don't know, can you guys hear the music? But the speakers are working. That side is playing. And that side is working. So my laptop generally sits on this side stand here. I don't know, can you see it? I have a little side stand here. Little arm. And my laptop lives on there. And it's got a Thunderbolt connection to the network and everything. So this is where my laptop normally sits. And my Bluetooth mouse. Just check the devices. Biometric. Okay, Windows. Can I get the biometric to work on here? Is it under security? Biometrics under security, isn't it? What's it under? Privacy? Personalized? Biometric. Fingerprint sign in. Hello. You must have a password before you can use the sign option. Why do I need a password? Why? Because I don't know why I need a password. I mean, Windows. Isn't the whole idea of having a biometric sign in is so it's more secure than a password? Because like people can set lame ass passwords. I've seen them. People set really crappy passwords. I don't use crappy passwords. I use really daft long passwords, like, tap 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 tap. And I don't know. I don't like short passwords. I like super long ones. Often the more complicated the password, the better. Well, it's You see, before, when it says Windows Hello Fingerprint, it wouldn't tell me. It would tell me that it wouldn't work. It just tells me that there's no hardware in here. But now Windows is telling me there is hardware in there, and it sees it, which is nice. So if I do a hardware scan, yeah, the fingerprint password is there. It's a Goldie Mac fingerprint. Oh, Godex Mac fingerprint. Is that the same fingerprint scanner that Macs use then? Does Macs use a Godex one? So I don't know. I'm quite happy with it. Keyboard lights on. Touchscreen works. Keyboard like it's working. I suppose I should try the keyboard, didn't it? Keyboard. Oh no. On-screen keyboard, is it? On-screen keyboard. So I can go. Oh. Nope. What's the tool you use in Windows to test keyboards, man? You know what? I'll just create a text file. A new text file. No, I'll just open this. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, minus delete. Yep. Open bracket, close bracket. I'm just, what I'm doing is like, I'm just pressing every button on the here and see does it work? Caps lock work? Yep. Return work. Shift. Yep. Hey, keyboard all works. I'm happy. Okay, no worries. Don't save this. I will put this to. I will shut down the computer. Oh. Oh, I wonder why the Windows key feedback thing doesn't work. Sound. Windows Sonic for headphones. Wait. This PC Dolby Atmos for headphones. Is that a thing? Is that a thing on Windows? I have not noticed that before. I've really just noticed it. Windows Sonic for headphones. What's that do? Sound settings. Hello, microphone. Oh, the microphone works on this. That's nice. I don't even know where the microphone is, but it seems to work fine. Sound volume goes up and down. That's good. I'm quite happy with that. Shut down the computer because I don't have any other use for it right now. So this one is the old one that I replaced. Shut down. If anybody's curious, this the Dell XPS 17, it has two speakers. They have this little tiny one here. This is like the front firing one, and then it has a bass speaker here. The bass isn't special. It works, right? So you got very high pitch and low pitch, and the low pitch one works quite well because when you put your hand on the top here, you can hear it vibrate. Here, you can feel it vibrate. It does vibrate the palm rest, although it's very, very, very subtle, right? It's not super powerful, but it does work. So it's a good, it's relatively good design, I think. I can't fault it. Stick these things back on here because I don't want to. I don't want to break this thing. I mean, it does work. It's just that the fingerprint doesn't work. So I will sell it on eBay as for spares, and I'm sure somebody out there will probably want it. You know, I mean, who doesn't want a US layout? US layout keyboards in the UK, they're quite rare, man. They don't I don't know why, but um, most folks in the UK don't like US keyboards. I like US keyboards because it's easier. You know, like if you do like any types of Windows coding, right? If you're one of these people who likes to write PHP programming in Windows, I mean, like when I say Windows programming, I mean like website coding. If you like me and you like doing website coding, you'll appreciate a US keyboard over a UK keyboard because the UK keyboard, the hash key, is kind of hidden. You know, can't find it anywhere, and it's really annoying. So this is why I like the US keyboard because the hash key on the US keyboard is just above the number 3, and it's so easy to access. Whereas on a UK keyboard, the hash key is hidden, and you have to type in like you have to type in something like Control Alt Control. I can't remember what it is. It's either Control Alt something or something else. I can't remember. Anyway, it's like it's a pain in the ass, and it's just shouldn't be done that way. And the only that's unfortunately that's the only way you can get like the the I don't know. I haven't worked out another way to do it, but everybody tells me, "Oh, you have to type this to get it." I'm like, "What the heck? I don't have time for that." You know, it's like when you're doing a website and you're doing PHP, you need a hash key every so often, and you need the hash key more often than you need a space key or a pound sign key. So I'm really I always buy when I buy computers and laptops and stuff. I always buy them with a US keyboard on it. Even when I buy keyboards from Logitech, I will say to them, I goes, "Do you have a US international layout?" And they went, "But you're in the UK." I says, "It doesn't matter where I am. Do you have one? And can you supply me one?" You know, and often enough, the companies out there they will supply me a keyboard that I want to use. Uh, It's like my Logitech keyboard here that I use. This is a US keyboard. This is a US ISO keyboard. The one I use is a US ANSI keyboard. I don't know. Do you guys know what the difference is? ISO keyboard has the return switch on two lines like this. Um, on a ISO keyboard, this button is here as a long button, and then this button, both of these buttons are combined. That's it. That's the only difference between the two keyboards that I've noticed. Other than that, the layout is exactly the same. But some keyboard manufacturers don't. Some keyboard manufacturers don't do an ANSI keyboard, even though I prefer them. You know, they don't make them. They only make um they only make an ISO keyboard because ISO keyboards are the standard. I just don't like them.